Good morning. In today's video, I will show you how to solve the midterm exam for our current AutoCAD Basics learning course. And that video is special for my students at Ajman University. I'm going to show you guys how to solve the previous samples for midterm examination. That's a specific, I think, for the year 2016. So in the exam, you will be facing a case where you are required to draw a normal plan, just a single floor plan. It's a very basic one. Try to have a look at the first page where you go and been given a set of detail like the width of the door, the frame width, the thickness and the distance between the doors, and the face of the wall. So try to pay attention also to the layers required and colors. Sometimes it's been given to you in a more exact detail, sometimes given here just to specify the layers, sometimes given as a table to specify exactly each layers and its color and its line type and so on. Anyway, so this example have a specific enlargement here for the pool and for a bar area, and that's the plan itself. And in the last page you can see the grading and how it's actually been distributed to each item that you solve. Anyhow, so we get back to this plan, which I get a picture here. For it, it's really a good idea to go ahead and start up a new file and make sure that you have a good understanding of what type of units you have. So that's the first point, and as long as you can see it's a big number, so you're gonna go with a millimeter. So I'm gonna have units, and I'm gonna pick millimeters and make sure the precision is 0, and then go ahead and start to create the required layer. So I will start by having the layer for grids, and as you can see there is no column, so I go for grid and then immediately go to create the wall by offsetting them. So in the layer you can create here to create a new layer, and you go and create grids. Double click on that to make it current, change the color, and then load the required line type, and then make sure that you're actually activating it here again. And the line weight, I'm gonna pick something very very thin, which is 0.05 or 0.09. Now quick look again, that's around, let's say, just 5,000, 7,000, 12,000, let's say 16, and then let's around 20 meter. So if I add 5 here and 5 here to roughly know the distance from this point to this point, it should go for a 30 meter. So what you should do is to activate the L command, which is the line, and place a point here, move your hand, make sure that you have F8 actually for the ortho, and before you click and give the number, which is let's say 30 meter, or in the case of a millimeter 30,000, have a look if it's just saying 1,000. So don't just go ahead and draw it. Instead, just zoom out and try to get some, use this dynamic input to see some value information. If it doesn't allow you to zoom out, just escape and just try to get far away or zoom out enough, and then redo the thing. And now it's almost there. You see 24 meters. So I'm gonna go 30,000. That's my first vertical line. Now I will go to LTS, line type scale, and I just try to have 10 instead, maybe 100. Yep, 100 will be good to see the exact line type scale for that grid. Now you need to start offsetting, so offset 4,100. And then offset 2,000. And then 3,500. 4,000, and then offset 1,300. it's 1,900. And then the last thing is 3,000. Now the horizontal one, just I don't know how much is this. It's 4,800. So and then 1,600. And then 3,900. 3,600. It's 500. Oops. So I'm gonna push that up 100 mil. I'll just delete it. It's just an offset 3,500. And the last thing is 2,300. So that's it. That's the vertical and the horizontal grid. Probably I'll stretch that a little bit down. Now I'll go ahead and draw circles just to represent the bubbles here for the grid, and use the text. Here you see, you might not see this text as an office scale. So just go ahead and select wherever you place the window and zoom in toward the rectangle. You're gonna find that guy here, scale it. That's the vertical grid. So we're gonna go and just copy that. Double click and then double click again, and then click outside, double click and then double click again, and then write the letter and then click outside, and so on. Select the whole set and use the quadrant point, and then move your hand down until you select the end point. Maybe you can stretch the whole thing up a bit, and then do the same thing by just copying this guy here, placed here. You can see that the nearest is popping all over the place. Just turn it off. Here we're gonna go on numerical base, so you know what to do. So that's what we need here for the first layer, which is the grid and the bubbles, text, and for both letters here and numbers here. That's done. The second step is to create a new layer, and this time, before you jump and you create the walls, just make sure that you have placed the grid correctly. Let's just place dimension for the external grids, make the layer current. Use the DLI command, and if you don't see the text, just D, and then modify the dimension style. Probably 100 is good. Now use the DCO, dimension continuous, and just create the required click. Now check those against what you have in the document. Make sure that they are right, and if you need to fix, you can fix now in a couple of seconds. Better, you know, when you go advanced and make lots of walls and dimension and hatch, it will be much harder to be fixed later on. So that's what we want for now. So layer again, and this time create the walls. Notice that the wall will be continuous again. The thickness for the wall, I would rather change it to the thickest thing. Let's say 0.35. There's thicker than that, but that's enough. The rest, I'll keep them as 0.05. Now, lots of way to work in here. You can just offset the grid ups and downs based on the thickness of the wall, which is 200. And you go up 100 and then you downward 100. It's gonna be a little bit long. You can draw a line and then offset the line, or you can use the polyline method. I would go and ignore, of course, all the fillets, and I will use the polyline method. So in the polyline method, I'll just draw based on the intersection of that, and I have to look at go to G1 and then G2. So that's the G1. That's G2. Just follow the intersection to E2, and then we go down to 4, and then all the way to the end. Ignore the curve again. So here, all the way to D. That's D. And you go up to 5, left, down, and all the way to the end, and all the way here. Just C space to close that. Now, as long as the wall is 200, so just offset 100 up and then 100 downward. Select that guy and delete, and then just select those. Just hit X for explode. Select those two lines and explode them so you can get them as a separated line, as you can see. Now this guy, just pay attention to the arrow end. It's saying that the outside is a 3100, so fillet radius 3100, and select that guy and then select that guy and offset again 200, and you can just simply trim. Now I do believe we have here 2100 here. Again to the outside, fillet that guy inside and then trim. Now that's done, and we can just zoom in to see what type of walls. Here the hatch, pay attention to the type of hatching you have. The hatch is here different. That means we need a separated layer for the partition. So that's the external walls. And if you didn't see that line and the hatch goes the same, that means we have the same wall type, but in here it's different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this green line for the exterior walls, and I'm going to create a layer. I'm going to call it partition, and making it current, probably make this slightly different, maybe this one. Okay, I'll make it maybe less, let's say 0.3, and I will just, you know, draw the partitions as you can see in here. So if there's no line here and the hatch is the same, you shouldn't make a partition. That's mean they are all in the same layer, but as long as it's been separated, so it will be a great idea to draw them. So we have those two lines vertical. So again, you can take this line here, go all the way up, and I'm going to offset that to 100. And I'm going to zoom in here and then copy those guys and move that in here. And for some reason they just jumped up, so I'm just going to select them again and put them back, as you can see. Now again, we need two lines in here, so that line, and I'm going to offset that to 100. That's what we want. And again, copy those two things and place them here. I do believe that there is nothing in here, so it would be a great idea if I select those two things and just delete those two things in here. Now we have this room, all those three rooms up, and then three rooms here. And before we jump and make this, I think there is a partition here somewhere. Yep, exactly here. So I'll just draw from the intersection to the intersection and then offset it 100 to the right and then 100 to the left, removing this guy, and that's our partition. And I do believe that we may need to copy this at this point and place it here. So that's our guy in here, and we need a wall in here, and that's it. So now it would be really great idea if you lock the grid, so you know it's less painful when you want to trim and when you want to fix and open the doors. But probably it would be even better if we turn it off for now. So you know, when you trim TR space space, it would be easier, you know, to select 4 lines, 4 clicks instead of 8 here, 1 instead 2, and so on. So that's, oops, that sound good. Oh, let's fix this. And as you can see now, it's ready. And again, in the exam, make sure that you know, close those little bit of gaps in here. I know you might not see them, so just turn off the walls themselves. It would be really great if you can close this guy. So if you want to export that to Adobe Illustrator or Adobe Photoshop so you can color, I think it would be easier for us to color and just pick a point inside and, you know, add the color we want. So if you are not making any presentation, I think this step to close them will not be necessary. But in this particular example, I might be highly advise you to do that. So now, before I finish, if you notice that in this area, this guy is an external one. So those are external, and this is just, you know, like a thicker fence in here. So this guy is not what we was actually expecting. We have to have a line here. That guy should be green. And probably we need this guy also to be green, so I'll just assume it. those guys are green also. So I'll fill it, return the radius to 0, close this gap, and then close this gap, and then again offset those guys just because they are partitions. And make sure we have here a line, and I do believe that need to be deleted, so and we need the line here for the partitions, and we need the line here again for the partitions again, and I think it's done. If you want to double check, just hide the walls again. So you're supposed to have a closed geometry. Those guys have to be deleted. It's a good idea to turn off the layers from time to time and see if you are working accurately without an extra lines. I'm just gonna get the wall back, a wall layer back again. So that sounds good so far. That's the wall, that's the partition. I'll just activate the last layer, which is the grid or axis, and as you can see now it's ready for the next step. And the next step in here is to make the door opening, and or you can go ahead and make this, you know, hidden, but I'll prefer go to the doors. And again, in the exam we agreed that even if we got this symbol without the frame, we have to draw the inner frame. And if you check the questions, it's actually asking you to draw the frame as a 50mm. And I just add this lecture to remind you that it should be drawn as per shown in the lectures. Anyway, so let's make sure that we have the opening first. So I'm going to zoom out. It's 200mm gap away. We'll start here, through here. So just draw a line, still in the partition layer. Move that guy 200 and then offset him 1000. Now we can trim without being afraid to cut that because we already locked the layer. Beautiful. So we have one here and one here and one here. Let's do that. You can just copy those and then just rotate them. And again, it's I'm just gonna assume that it's 200 and 200, so just copy that, or actually mirror that. It would make more sense. And I'll copy this again to the other side. Use match property to make this like that, and then one trim to get all those open. Here, that's a door. As you can see, the symbol, that's mean, if you see that dashed line, that means this is just an arch. Again, open that. Make sure to open the whole opening before you just start drawing your own doors. I found that safer to prevent you from making blocks part a wall actually within the block process. Again, two doors in here, one here, and you have to get this again to the other side. That's what we need. So that's the door. One here, annoying. So that's it. As you can see, all this 1000mm doors are actually open. So as I mentioned, that's not the way we agreed on, so we have to make it a frame here. So I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to switch to layer 0, making it current. Oops. Anyway, I'll keep that layer on. Just by mistake created this. I just wanted to activate layer 0. So again, offset that 50. Draw a rectangle here. That's a 50mm frame. I'm just going to remove that guy. And I'm going to copy this downward. And now we need to make the door itself. So we need a line. I will rotate that line 90 degrees. And then, just offset that 50 and draw the rectangle. Just remove the construction lines by making windows around them, and then draw the circle. Trim. So I'm going to select this object and this guy, and one click to remove that part. So that's my window, that's my door with the 50mm frame. And again, guys, it's different from what we drawn in here. Now layer again, where is this one? Yeah, I just created by mistake. Let's use it. So I'm gonna call it doors, making it current. Probably I'll use maybe 13mm, and it's continuous. Let's make it, I don't know what color you like. Now block, I will call that guy door. It's a single door, and then it's 1000mm, and it's in the plan. Select the elements, pick a point, and then finish, and you're gonna get yourself a nice block here. Now you got to use that right here and mirror, shift and right click, and just flip it into place so you can use it here also. Here, this guy, now we need to rotate it. Probably you need to mirror that. Now again, this guy have to be copied here, and probably we need to mirror. I don't know where is the center, so I'm gonna go between 2 points, between this point and this point. See, and the final copy should come at this. I'm gonna bring that in here, flip it in place, just between those 2 points, and I think it needs to be, yep, the other way around. So that's it. Those are the doors, the single door. Now we need to do this guy here. If you don't find that written for you how much, you can go back to the first page. It's just saying it's 2,200. So again, back to AutoCAD zoom. As long as it's not mentioned where it is, it should be in the middle of the room. So offset 1100 to both sides, making that 2.2 meters. Remove that. Match property. Don't worry, because you're not gonna get this into the match property because it's actually locked. So we have just 1 and 2 all out of those. This guy is 1100mm. It's not in the middle of a room as long as it's indicated. If it's not indicated, so it's in the middle of this corridor or in this room. Anyway, so select those 2 lines, move them up, and then probably you need to rotate them. Move them with the previous again, and I'm gonna place that here, and then move those guys upward 1100, match property and trim, and then zoom in again. I'm gonna go back to layer 0, so I create the the door. Just take a line and then draw another line here to the middle. Rotate the midline upward, and yep, something wrong here. Let me show you this method. I like it. Just take this guy here and stretch this dude here up and get rid of the construction line. Use the circle. This method is good by having a line and then half of it, just, you know, ignoring how long, and you don't need to calculate or, you know, subtract the frame from the original opening. Just like a really nice way. Get the door out of the frame, so when you make the block you don't get those by mistake. Get back to the layer of doors and then block that guy as a door, the main element, and then double the type of it, and then 2200 mm the width, and then it's been drawn in the plan. Select the elements of it and then the big point, and then finish that. Now you can place it back to the wall and make a copy of it. Rotate that copy as you can see to get yourself the actual location for it. Now we have the window, which is for some reason it's 1900. So I'm going to zoom in here. I will draw a line. Probably it's a good idea to switch now to the walls. I'll draw points here, a line here, and it's a 950 that way, and then it's just an offset of 1950. Similar thing. I think I made a mistake, isn't it? Yep, that's wrong. Just undo, undo, undo. Yep, it's 1900. Now this guy have to be placed in the middle of this room, okay? Or I can just push it to the edge like here, and then move them again 700 to the left, and here 1000 from both sides. So I'll just copy those guys again and then move them 1000 mirror, and I will go between 2 points, so that's my inner room. Good way to draw that. Now there is a for some reason there is a window here 550, so just copy those. And trim. Here another one. Again, I'll hold it between those 2 points, and I'll place it here to the middle. Trim it. We have a door here, a window here, sorry, and a window here. and that's in the middle, and that's also in the middle. So again, you can just catch that between those. That's again between those 2 points, so that's one. And now that's annoying. I have to place that, move. Okay. Again, between those 2 points to between those 2 points to place it exactly in the middle of this run. Sadly, it's not at 1600 from the edge. Oh my god. So again, and then move previous to the other side 1600. Just pay attention to the dimension if it's been given or not. Otherwise, you have to make it in the middle. That's what we want. Another 2 in here. So here, and then we move that 600. And you can just simply mirror and then trim. What else? Window here, 1000 away from the wall, which is here. Move that guy 1000 and then trim. It's good. So while I'm here, that's the last window, and it's again in the middle of the room. So from the midpoint to the midpoint between this and that. Before we go ahead, I noticed that this wall is thicker than the normal external wall, so that's mean I have to extend and then trim both of them. You can make this, I don't know, in a new layer. Just give it an assumption of a 300 mil thickness. It is good assumption, and I'll assume it's in the partition. You can just go ahead and create new layer for you. Just MA, match property from this one to this, and probably you need to draw the wall here again as a partition, and in case if you want to do a Photoshop presentation or separated layers for printing purposes for each partition and wall. Anyway, so that's it. Now I'm zooming in. You can go ahead and just draw a 50 mil rectangle. Move that. Again, that should be drawn in layer 0 anyway. Too lazy to do that now, so I'm gonna do the whole thing quickly. Now I'm just gonna move those guys. Again, those guys should be in again layer 0, so I'm gonna offset, let's say 20 mil up. Just a symbol of the window. You gotta create a layer and you call it windows. Indeed. And make it current, and of course not green, maybe cyan. Don't make it that thick, so probably 13 millimeter is enough. And just, you know, block that guy. I'll go window, its type is fixed, I don't know, 1900 mil, and drawn in the plan. Select make a big point here and then just move it all the way. And I will leave you guys to rotate and place all that. I don't want to waste more time in it. What else? The pool is just 1800 offset. So it's just a line in here. You can do that easily. And this guy should be in a layer, you name it, pool. Again, it should be current. And let's go ahead and make this guy, as you can see, again, continuous 0.3 mil. What else? Yeah, those 3 arcs, very easy. So arc, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, again 2, again 3. Alright, so now probably I will change that, the whole layer into the pool one, into a hidden. So I'm gonna go ahead, load that guy, take this one and just select it, so it will be hidden, as you can see, that dotted as in here. You can change, if you don't like this, the amount of that, the line type scale, I don't know, maybe 0.5, maybe less. No, too much. Yep, something like that. What else, guys? Oh yeah, this one, the furniture. So I'm gonna create a layer. I'm gonna call it furniture. Make it current, and probably it would be best if it's continuous. And you can see it's just saying 600, 600, 600. Just a matter of offsetting things. So that's a 600 here, and that's a 600 here, and that's another 600 here. So let's fillet those guys. And for some reason I'm completely working in the wrong layer, so should be in furniture. It's actually, I am in the correct layer, but as long as you are offsetting, you're not getting the, you know, the features of the new one. Anyway, so 3200, so offset 3200, that much, then offset 600, and then you can go ahead and fillet the 1600. This guy and this guy, and then offset that 600 again. Match property. Now you see that this is 1200, so we will get benefit out of that line. Radius 0. That's what we want. That's again the last step is to make those stools here. It's a 200 and it's touching the thing here in the corner, so I need one here at the beginning and one at the end, and I'll just go circle 200 mil and push that to the edge, and then take this guy here from the corner here. Alright, now we have 1, 2, 3 copies. That means 1 gap, 2 gap, 3 gap, 4 gap. So if you divide 90 over 4, it will give you, I think, 22.5. So you have to go to rotate, and you need to figure out, of course, the center of the rotation. So that's the center of the rotation. With rotate, select this dude, that's the center of the rotation. Take a copy and then just write 22.5. Beautiful, it's working. Keep repeating this. That's the base point. It's a copy, and 22.5, and so on That's the center. That's a copy to 2.5. Get rid of those guys, and you get your furniture ready. Now the dash line, so you can create a layer. You call it just dash. Make it current. I don't know. Pick up any color you like. Maybe this guy, and you can go ahead and make it, you know, dash. And as the AutoCAD here has been provided, the document actually providing 1200, so just 1200 offset all over the place. So offset 1200. Don't bother by the layer types for now. We can fix that very easy with the matcher property. Fillet radius 0. Close that. As I do now, and then, you know, that's the layer, which is for some reason I cannot see the line type scale of it. Yep, that's better. Match property, take it to the rest, and it ends here. We're almost done, guys. What else we have? The stairs, another layer. Should be continuous. And it just goes for 1000 down. And the rest is, you know, just an offset of a 300. So that's one, that's two, and the same thing in here. And those two guys could be just mirrored, and then fillet. Get back to the dimensions here, so I'm gonna go layer again. And DLI that, so I'm just, you know, making the string DCO, keep clicking. It's very fast method. It look like scary in the beginning when you see the amount of dimension in the document. But with the DCO command, you know, it's really fast, as you can see. So whenever you feel those are overlapping, just, you know, push them aside. As you can see, that's the dimension. And you can go ahead and do the vertical lines just the same way. What else? The hatch. So let's go ahead and create a layer. I'll call it hatch. Make it current. Change the color. And reduce the size. Oops. Yeah, it is okay. Good. So those line will, and also the dimension will stand in the way, so it's a good idea to turn them off with the grid. The grid is not, so just you know, turn it off here. So now what type is just rotate the grid, so H space, and pick up the style you like, this one. If you don't see the pattern, just go ahead and hit 10 and then hit enter. Now try to see it, not 100 and enter. Much better, so that's what we want. This guy is just a line, so probably I need to close this gap. Here. While we did that, I was too lazy to do it, but now we have a copy attached to the hand. Great. Now the hatch, again, pick up, you can just go ahead and any types you like, let's say any stripes of lines, continuous one, I don't know where they are, this one, okay, no, just some pattern, yep, this one, okay, I'm using just pick point method. See this one again if you're not really catching it. Now there is two types of patterns again. You can see those two lines on a 45 angle for the partitions and the concrete for the external walls. So to do that, again, I'm gonna watch H space. Let's go and pick the concrete one. Yep, here we go. Try to see the overall area before you go pick, and nothing happened, so I'm just gonna go undo. So some reason something wrong here. Let's redo that. So again, nothing, as you can see. That means that's too big. Go back to 10 and hit enter. Now we can see it, probably 2. Yeah, that's better. See, it's good to zoom sometimes to see all the area before you click. The computer will a bit go slow, as you can see. Just be patient with it. Oops. That's what we want. And now hatch the 2 line on a 45. Too lazy to find, probably this one. It's too big, too dense actually. Yep, that's beautiful. So you can see how it's been applied by pick point base. Try to see the whole thing before you click. That's all. Now that's about it. You can just go ahead and unhide. Just click anywhere, Control A, and then unhide all the layers. And technically, we have finished just the text, the remaining of the text. You can just you know, go ahead and create a layer for it. Just call it text. You know, and then just draw the text. Or is it just maybe easier if I just steal that one here? It's already blocked. Okay, so just text. And just say room. I don't know what room is this. Anyway. Here. That's the room. That's the text. You can just copy that and change it the same way we did. What else? Oh, those guys probably. I'm gonna go back to the dimension layer in case if you don't know how to do them. They are just DRA, dimension radius. I'm gonna pick this one and then pick this one like that, maybe. If you want one inside the curve, one outside the curve. Same thing here, guys. Oh, come on. See, that's also done. Probably one here. and you can make one here also. So that's it. You can go ahead and do the rest of the dimension and do the rest of the hatch if there is anything I missed here. I wish that you find this video, guys, useful. Thank you very much for watching and have a good day. Bye bye.